You might have heard headlines that say coronavirus is a plague prophesied in the Bible, or that it heralds the end of the world, or is a biblical judgment on our societies. I want to tell you why I don't think those headlines are helpful, why I don't think the virus is God's judgment or the end of the world. The Bible certainly does talk about plagues, famine, and wars increasing before the end of the world, or at least the end of this age. But Jesus himself is quite clear that nobody knows the date.
No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father.
In fact, Jesus advises us to ignore anyone who claims otherwise.
So if anyone tells you, do not believe it.
Jesus goes on to point out that one way or another, we will all die. The important thing is to be ready. So maybe the Bible is making headlines for the wrong reasons. Might it have something else to offer? Disasters, suffering, and death can all remind us of our own mortality, make us think about what's really important. People who just a few weeks ago were called unskilled or low-paid workers are rightly being recognised as essential, heroes, people who keep the world turning. Yesterday, we released a Good Friday message, especially for those suffering the worst consequences of this epidemic. But for many of us, we're not so much struggling for breath with this virus as holding our breath, wondering what will come next, waiting to see what kind of world will emerge after all this suffering and economic devastation. The day after Jesus died on the cross felt a bit like that. For his followers, the shocking experience of his crucifixion gave way to the devastating loss of his death and burial. Jesus was dead and all their hopes had died with him. Their lives went on to pause. It was a Sabbath, a day set aside in the Jewish calendar for rest. So all his disciples could do was wait, grieve, and ponder their shattered dreams while his body rested in the tomb. Some Christian traditions call Easter Saturday, the day between Good Friday and Easter Sunday, the Great Sabbath. Throughout the Bible, the Sabbath is much more than a day off. It's more of a pause to rest and refocus on what life is truly about. And it wasn't just people who got to rest. It was also the animals, the livestock, the land, everything. In fact, regular rest for the environment was built into their code of living.
For 6 years plant your land and gather in what it produces, but in the 7th year let it rest, and do not harvest anything that grows on it.
Like the disciples on that first Easter Saturday, the world right now is being given a Sabbath without asking for one. And we're rediscovering the value of time with loved ones, the importance of touch in the physical world, the power of simple acts of kindness, the beauty of the natural world, and maybe a different way of valuing work. Sabbath is supposed to draw our attention back to these things. And it means that we, like Jesus' followers, can experience the pause that helps us reflect on what really matters.